Well, hello everybody. I'm out here just trying to do some field work, trying to better myself. And over my last few tournaments, I've kind of reflected on my game a lot, and I've put together a list of the 10 things that I really should be working on specifically. As I came up with this list of things that I should specifically work on, I came up with the idea of documenting all of these changes and documenting my progress in a series that is going to be known as Project 1%. Now, the meaning of the name Project 1% is the idea that if you can just get 1% better every single day, you will grow immensely over the span of a long period of time. So, in this video, I'm going to present the outline for everything that I'm going to do in the series by starting with the 10 things that I specifically need to work on in my game. Now, as time goes with this series, I plan to record and post monthly recap videos with testing such as backhand distance, backhand accuracy, forehand distance, forehand accuracy, C1 putting in both ways, straddle and inline, and C2 putting with both jump putts and step putts. And also a monthly round at a very tough course that will either be Holston or Pipeline Blues. So I will decide that eventually, but let's get to the 10th most important thing for me to work on in my game. So at number 10 in this list comes my release point on my backhand anhizers. Recently, I've been pulling them extremely inside, very inconsistent, especially when I throw harder. When I can throw putters and have more touch and slow down a lot, I often can just pop it out there and have a consistent release point. But especially pulling inside, the lean back will end up with me pulling very inside, hitting what's right in front of me if I'm trying to go around something. So it's very important for me to learn how to release outside, bring it back in, or release high, and be able to just have something kind of pan out instead of just pulling something inside. And really, I just want to be able to control where release it, either whether that's inside, whether that's outside, whether that's in the middle, whether that's high, that's low, whether I just need a tight line, whether I need a wide line, anything of the sort of really something that I can create a weapon with, as Anheuser is a easy way to get easy distance with little to no effort. And this also comes as my Anheuser release in general is very inconsistent in terms of I actually release flat kind of often. So I actually need to be able to focus in and release on Anheuser, release with turn, and then let the disc do the work in the air. There's a good one. There's a wasp. It's going to pan out the entire way. There's a nice little mid shot. So let's go to number 9. Now, number 9 is something that I have already spent a lot of time working on, but I've actually kind of slouched on it recently, not putting in as much work and just not being effective in my work when I actually do it, and that's my backhand form. It's actually decreased in the way that it looks, and I think I've lost a little bit of power. It looks bad, especially when I throw faster. So I want to be able to revisit both my brace and my power pocket. Right now, I'm pulling from very high and ending up really across my chest, and just very high in general. I want to bring my power pocket low, below my sternum, be able to just have a very smooth throw, and be able to just, it looks fine, it feels fine, nothing feels very awkward, as well as I need to be able to get into my brace a lot more and be able to use my hips. I think I'm slightly forward in where my weight is set as soon as my brace hits, so I end up losing power, in my opinion. Two more things, really quick. My off arm needs to go from here to into the side of my hip, That's something I've talked with my coach with a lot, and I just need to be able to get it down to muscle memory, get from here, which loses my space to get to here. The last thing is my head actually leads my throw. So when I'm throwing, when I'm at my release point, my head is this way. When I think I should be in my power pocket this deep, my head should be facing back forward, and I should be able to just pull, throw, and then let my throw and let the disc kind of pull my body that way to where I get more power, I get deeper into my power pocket, and I'm able to get ultimately more power. And I think that's part of what I want in the form change is I do want more power. I want to be able to get to 500 feet consistently with my distance drivers. That would be very nice. It would open up a lot more things for me, and I would also have to relearn my bag again, which I'm very comfortable in doing. But also, it comes to down to accuracy because if I can get the form to be consistent, I will have a consistent release point. Therefore, I can aim at a certain place and know where the disc is going to release at, as long as I can have it down to muscle memory. So, number 9, being my backhand form. I'm excited to work on it. Let's take us to number 8. So, at number 8, I believe that I really need to work on all of my approach shots within 300 feet. 300 feet is really a range that I know I can reach either way, standstill, forehand, backhand, it doesn't really matter. But if I can dial in accuracy from that point, it would be very beneficial to any scoring that I can do. This also helps with scrambling a little bit, as you know, if you're in the woods and you need a shot to go a certain distance, if you've worked on those approaches, you can shape shots in a way that can still get to that range. But the reason why it's this low on the list is because it's not that important. I'm still comfortable in that range. There's things that I need to work on that are better. And working alongside with that at number 7, I think I need to work on my standstill shots, both form wise, distance wise, touch wise. Just all aspects of my standstill shots, especially on my backhand, as I do have the problem of pulling it in the wrong place and just not being able to release in the right point. And if I can dial in those standstill shots, I can really throw from anywhere. I don't really have to worry about if the ground's soggy, if it's on a weird slope or not, or if I don't have the right footing. I can just pull out a standstill and still be able to get wherever I need to go. Now at number 6, I believe this is one of the strengths of my game, but again, if it can become great or elite, that's where you score well, and especially in rated rounds. That's my inline putt in circle 1. It's been working well for me recently, very well, and it's my preferred way to putt inside circle 1, and even outside the circle, shortly outside the circle. If I feel like I don't really want to step, I don't really want to jump, I'll just go my inline. I have a lot of pop. One thing I do need to work on with it, I need a little bit more touch. I putt hard. I putt with a lot of spin. I putt with hyzer. So if I hit dead center, it has a tendency to spit out, especially on not as catchable baskets. So putting practice altogether gonna be probably a daily thing, if not a certain quota per week. So try to make it a weapon. And number 5, I am choosing something that is on the mental side of the game, and that is how bad spots in a round and bad scoring in a round affects how I play after that bad scoring. So if the scoring goes awry or I'm just off my pace, I need to be able to bounce back, still throw, still have a good time, and keep my mental headspace in a way that it doesn't really affect my game in a way. So I can, have a bogey, have a double bogey, go OB, and still be able to execute the shots after that. And number 4, I'm choosing something that is again on the mental side of the game, and that is when I decide to be safe and when I decide to be aggressive. Now, this is like more complicated than am I going for this or am I laying up? It's about what disc that I choose. It's about how do I play the win? How do I putt? How do I play to score? Do I need to try to stretch out this disc to a certain distance, or can I just pick a faster speed disc that can get there much easier? And I saw that a lot during my most recent tournament, where I lost a lot of strokes because I tried to play a game that was not that smart. So going into this top three, these are things that are going to be worked on a step above the rest, as they are the most important, in my opinion, for me to take the next step as a player. So at number three is all putting within circle two. I'm going to combine this, as I did have on my original list, I had straddle and step putts in a separate tier, but I did not make a single circle two putt in my most recent tournament. And I lost a lot of strokes because of it, although I did not have these barely outside of the circle ranges often. I had, mid deep circle twos, but I couldn't even hit the basket. I didn't come close on them. So I want to make my step putt, especially just outside the circle, a major weapon that I can use. Like, to where you see AB doing it like he does, and he can just be barely outside the circle, step it, hit dead center like it's nothing, and just be completely pure in his stroke. And then I want to be able to make my jump putt. I want to be able to control where I put the disc. My jump putt, I get a lot of pop on my jump putts because I have good timing, in my opinion, with my putts. At least my jump putts. So when I extend my arm, I pop my wrist at the right time, and I get a lot of pop. I get a lot of distance. Oftentimes, I'm going long in the basket from the ranges that I'm trying, and I'm putting myself in bad positions because of that. I just need to be able to release the disc at a good point, let it hyzer into the basket often, and then be able to at least give myself chances to get big putts in tournaments. At number two, this is easily the thing that I am the worst at in my game, in my opinion, even over number one, but I still feel one is even more important. Number two, we got my straddle putt, especially inside the circle. I lose all my pop, all of my pace on my putt. I lose all of my accuracy on my putt. Really, once you get outside of 15 feet inside the circle, or just once you get from 15 feet out of the pin, I have no idea where the straddle putt is going. And that is something, especially in South Carolina, especially with woods golf, especially with weird footing everywhere and very wooded courses. You need to be able to have a straddle. You need to be able to put your foot down and just putt any way that you can. And it being forced into an inline, it kind of, say there's a tree in front of me, I'm still more comfortable trying to get out here on the edge of the disc and kind of trying to float it than I am just reaching out and putting like this. So number two, straddle putt. I don't think I will use it often for circle two putts, especially step putts. Jump putts is a different story. I will work that in with my circle two practice, but that'll take us to the number one thing that I'm going to work on in Project 1%. So coming in at number one is forehand form. Now, I have worked on my backhand form for over a year. I only recently, like over the past 2 months, have gained a forehand that I deem as usable. And before that, it was very off and on whether I would use it. I only have specific discs that I can throw forehand, or I just, this disc will burn over because I have so much off axis torque. And now I feel like if I need a gap to be hit, I'm going forehand more often than not. And if I need a placement shot, if I don't need to go that far, if I need some distance control, I go forehand more often than not because I can control the distance a lot more because I don't throw it as far. And if I can get even more distance on my forehand, I want to be able to hit 400 forehand, 400 feet forehand consistently when I'm going my max distance drives with forehand, even though it does scare me. It scares me a lot shoulder wise, but the forehand is extremely important, especially with woods golf, as you have to scramble a lot. You need touch, you need distance, you need to be able to shot shape. If I can work on the forehand form, and go from the place that I've only changed it a few weeks ago, and just go from there, be able to have a consistent form, know where I'm putting the disc, know where I'm releasing the disc, and have some pop, have some distance to my forehand, be able to spin anything, get less off axis torque, just be able to use every aspect of my body into my forehand and be able to use it. You know, again, this idea of making something a weapon. It's all's fine and all if I can have 450 backhand, but what's the point if I don't have a usable forehand at all? You know, so the forehand in general, I think, needs to improve from a timing perspective, from a wrist perspective, and from a hips perspective. And I have a lot of time to work on it. I've been repping it more than I ever have before, and I'm excited to see how this forehand will improve. So that completes the list of the things that I will be working on during Project 1%. Again, just become 1% better every single day. Episode 2, the next episode, will be the initial testing that will create the baseline for the entire series. I don't know how long the series will go. I hope over a year. That's the plan. We will pick and choose some milestones to try to reach in this series and try to reach some percentages, some ratings, get some first and rated rounds, try to become better disc golfers in general. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want a hat like this one right here, go to flippydiscgolf.com, use code RWEST71 for 10% off at checkout. Again, code RWEST71 for 10% off at checkout. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a storm coming up right as I'm filming this video, so I'm gonna finish this fieldwork session and get home and prepare myself for episode number 2. I hope you will join me. Again, thank you for watching.